After so many years of doing graffiti, I've been doing it for 20 plus years. Started real late, and I've been to prison for it. Looking at 30 something years for a graffiti case. That being said, to all my vandals out there, worldwide, male, female, be safe out there.
If you're a returning subscriber or if you're new to the channel, welcome home. This is L.A Chronicles, a Graff Game. I'm your host, The Giver, and today we have a veteran and true legend in the graffiti world with us, hailing from the streets of South Central Los Angeles, representing the renowned crew UPN, Your Property's Next, with over 2 decades of experience, making his mark since 1999. Graff Game, please help me in welcoming Sight to the show.
What's up, man?
How you doing, Sight? Appreciate you coming through, man. Showing the channel some love, man. I won't forget it. Thank you. Now, in the intro, I said you're from UPN, but you are from other...
from other crews.
Other crews?
Yeah.
If you want to just kind of inform us of the other ones?
Acid Boys, shout out to Fresh and X and M, and CMA, shout out to Castro, RTN, shout out to Create, Mark 7, RTH, shout out to Ender, Endo, Smear, from TBU, RTDK, the Bus Killers, you know what I'm saying? And I think that's it, man. That's about 7 crews. Yeah,
and are they all pretty much still active? Is that not?
Yeah.
Okay.
Everybody's active. Everybody's doing their thing. Yeah.
Okay, cool, man. Do you find it a little difficult being from, various crews?
I mean, like, I'm always gonna be UPN first because that's the crew I've been in the longest.
Mm-hmm.
All the different crews show me love, and we got different kind of relationships and different kind of chemistry.
Yeah. Well, I definitely see UPN out in the streets, man, everywhere I go. So yeah, you guys are definitely out there, man.
Shout out to Ciroc and Reef and Suave and Smug and all the Jism and all them killing it right now on the streets.
Absolutely.
And shit.
Yeah, everybody that you named, I've seen multiple times.
Yeah,
so.
Thrash too. Thrash has been doing his thing. Yeah.
So let's jump right into this interview. Sight, could you tell us a little bit about, the city is big.
Yeah.
LA is big.
Yeah.
We know you're from South Central.
Yeah.
Could you give us like a point of reference, maybe like the nearest major intersection where you grew up?
Well, I grew up, Normandy and Florence. That was the ground zero, the launching pad. And I grew up in my grandmother's house, and that's where I grew up at. Home of the L.A Riots.
Yeah.
Just that's the spot. That's the,
Yeah. You said Florence Normandie. I immediately thought of basically the beginning, the origin point of the L.A Riots.
Yeah.
So that's a tough little section.
Yeah.
That's a tough section right there.
Yeah.
Absolutely. What was it like growing up? Let's start pre-riots.
Yeah.
What was it like?
you
growing
know,
up there?
growing up, Florence and Normandy, you know, ice cream trucks was my thing, man. I was lemon heads and big sticks, you know, no Diddy, you know what I'm saying? And walking over to the corner store, I think it's
Yeah.
Tom's over there, right on the corner of Florence and Normandy, going there, getting the Cheeto Paws, getting the getting sodas, walking with my sister, you know, waiting across the street, making sure we look both ways before we cross that intersection, because it get pretty wild right there. You know, and just, you know, walking with my mom to the store, um, getting her daiquiris, and, you know, it was just, you know, childhood was good right there.
Yeah, and so they would sell you daiquiris?
No, no, no,
Oh,
no, no.
okay,
My mom
okay.
would get the
Oh,
daiquiris.
okay, okay, okay.
My mom had to get something to take the edge off, because
Yeah,
kids aren't knowing, man. So, you know,
yeah, okay. So who was in the household?
you know, it was just, you know, it's grandma house. So grandma got everybody named mama right there. So
Hmm.
we had, in the house, we had my grandmother, my Uncle Sonny stayed way in the back house. They had a house. She had a beauty salon in the back,
Okay.
and my uncle stayed back there. My cousin stayed back there. She rented out another room back there to somebody else. And then I had cousins that live on the other side of 71st Street, by that's still close to Florence and Normandy.
Hmm.
And I would go down the street and kick with my cousins and stuff.
Okay. Inside, I think you guys lived in the front house.
Yeah, we lived in the front
Who
house.
stayed in the front house?
But just me, my grandmother, my sister, my mom. That's it. It was just
And
a
those,
2 bedroom
yeah.
house, front house. You know what I'm
Oh, okay,
saying?
okay. So it's four of you in
Yeah,
there.
yeah, yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
cool. And is your sister older than you or younger
Nah,
than
my
you?
sister younger. She, you know,
Okay.
she was younger. Yeah.
All right, cool. And so 1992 comes
1992.
around. And I think you know where I'm going.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah. I mean,
What was that day like, man? Can you remember anything like before
like,
it actually kicked off?
I mean,
What was the sentiment?
like, you know, I was a kid, so I remember that the climate was tense
Yeah,
from the politics, from the Rodney King
yeah.
case. A lot of people were talking about that. I remember, the OGs and the elders,
Mm-hmm.
talking about that a lot. And then the verdict hit, and then that
Mm-hmm.
really, made it really, the neighborhood didn't really respond to that too well. So,
Yeah, yeah.
I'm in the front yard. We playing stick ball, me and my sister, with the tennis ball and a stick on a branch and shit.
Mm-hmm.
And you just got a dude running through the street, running down my street, saying everything is free. I was like, oh, well, I don't know what that means. So I run back in there, and then you just see literally thousands, like hundreds of people running through the street with different shit. And I'm like, Mom, I want to go get some. I want to go get some chips. I want to get some Cheeto Paws, some Skittles. I want to get it all. And my cousin went and started looting, but my mom wouldn't let me go. So I was like, damn, dude, like, all those Skittles, man.
Yeah, yeah. Did you go at all that day? Like out?
Nah, my mom kept me and my
Kept you
sister
guys
in the
safe
yard.
inside?
She didn't feel it was safe.
Yeah.
She's been just being a mom, keeping us safe
Yeah.
and all that. So she kept us inside the house.
Yeah.
And we were watching it on the TV.
Yeah, yeah. So
Yeah.
I mean, I was living in Welch at the time, and so it hadn't reached us yet.
Yeah.
But I mean, you're like right dead smack in the center of everything, man.
Yeah.
Did your mom? I mean, was she like closing the doors, locking the windows? I mean, was she?
I mean, like, front door is open. We're watching it. We're watching people run up and down the street, VCRs, whole like display cases of shit, diapers.
Yeah.
Like, I watched this Korean lady get jumped, driving down the street to throw a brick through her window.
And that was on day one?
That was within an hour or two when that shit happened. So I'm sitting there watching this Korean lady. She didn't know no better. She didn't know. She didn't want none of that smoke. But
right.
they threw a brick through her car. I don't know where the fuck they got the bricks. and then they pull her out, took all her shit out her car, little Hyundai.
Yeah.
And they beat the shit out of her, stumped her out and shit.
Damn, they left her like unconscious.
Yeah, somebody dragged her out because there was people like getting fucked up, and then there was innocent like bystanders that would be watching them and start dragging people out of that shit because saying they Reginald Denny, you know.
Oh, like to try and help them?
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
And Reginald Denny was getting fucked up too, and they had to drag his ass out of there too, you know. So he didn't know no better. This white dude driving the truck down the street.
Damn. Did you, as it continued, like day 2, did you guys go to school that
Nah, the next day, they shut down the whole area.
Yeah.
They turned off the power. You know, it was a trippy experience because you know, I'll go outside and the sky was on fire. You know what I'm saying? They lit up some dude's car on fire on the corner. And you know, I watched that car burn all night. And then when I would go in the house and try to sleep, I couldn't even sleep. Like you hear the tires pop through the night because it was like on fire and shit.
Yeah.
You hear that shit 4 times, boom, you know, like, so streets were on fire, air was smoky, and we were just watching it on TV, going back in and out.
Yeah. Do you remember being fearful?
I wasn't fearful, but I was more anxious and curious to see what was going on. But as a kid, it was traumatic to watch people get beat up and jumped, and even the cops would come through. The cops were coming through, and they were fucking the cops up. The cops had to retreat. So to just see that rebellion, I know like some people don't even like to call it riots. It's like some people call it the Los Angeles Rebellion of '92. And it was just, I wasn't fearful, but it was just like, it was interesting. Like as a kid, I didn't know how to describe that. I don't know how to take that in. I was just watching everything.
What do you think now as an adult that you can fully comprehend, like what happened? What are your thoughts just now, reflecting back to that time?
I mean, my thoughts now is like I get it, understanding. You know, like the people can only take so much injustice,
right?
And it can take, you know, you got your foot in their necks. You know, you're not paying them enough.
Right.
The cops are fucking them over.
Yeah.
We don't really own anything, so to see somebody get beat up like that on tape, and then those people get like dismissed.
Right.
It was like a slap to the face, and I get it. People right now are tense.
Yeah.
Like a rebellion or a riot can happen right now.
Yeah.
All we need to do is get triggered and we'll burn this shit down right now, you know?
Yeah. I kind of sense, tension with, like in the streets.
Yeah.
And so, man, I feel you on that. I feel you on that, man. Yeah, I remember when the verdict popped off and the whole week they were like leading up, they were waiting for the verdict. Like they were just, what was going to happen?
Yeah.
And once they dismissed the charges, that's when, everything went off. So, damn, okay. When does life return to normal?
I mean, it took about a week for things to get back to normal.
Yeah.
You know, they turned off the power in that whole area. So we didn't have, and we're under martial law.
Yeah.
So
could you maybe elaborate a little bit? Like for people that, a lot of people aren't going to experience that.
Yeah. So a lot of people, I don't know what the boundaries were, but I was in a boundary because I was so close to Normandy and Florence.
Yeah.
They weren't letting nobody out. They weren't letting nobody in. Everything was closed off, no power. That meant no refrigerator. All our stuff was defrosted. We're about to lose food, all our cold food. We're lighting candles at night. We got army tanks going up and down the streets, enforcing the martial law. We had curfew. We couldn't be outside on the streets walking after dark. You know, and it was a fucked up ass feeling because we were walking around the city, the streets, the neighborhood, and everything's still smoldering.
Yeah.
Stuff is still smoking. Everybody's trying to go to the fast food, the mom and pops in the area, and they're selling out of food.
Yeah.
You know, we got some one place, all they had left was bean and cheese burritos. You know, so
you guys couldn't even go to the grocery store?
nah, the grocery stores are burned down.
Yeah, but like outside to
Nah,
drive
they
us?
wouldn't let us get out.
Wow.
They kept us locked. Then we were on lockdown.
Yeah.
Um,
Damn.
and it was wild, man. It
Yeah.
was wild, and it was, you know, no TV. As a kid, I'm like, damn, no TV. Um,
No AC, no heat,
no, I
right?
mean,
Because the power's off.
no, well, we didn't have no AC,
Oh, okay,
but
okay.
like, you know, but it was just boring, man. Like,
Yeah.
you watching my parents and my grandmother and my mom stress out, like,
Yeah.
you know, what we gonna do? And we're living on canned goods. You know, towards the end of it, we're on canned goods and dry goods.
Yeah.
So, you know,
Damn.
it was traumatic, man. Something
Yeah.
like, you know, it was a war zone right there.
Yeah. I bet, bro. I can only imagine.
I remember the television cameras, and the television news crews and the helicopters were flying over that area for days. Days.
Damn. Okay. After you said about a week or two.
Yeah.
When do you guys will start going back to school and
I
stuff?
said like, so about a week, you know, like I say about after a week or like 4 or 5 days,
Yeah.
they turned the power back on. I remember everybody in the neighborhood like, yes, the power's back on. Street lights are blinking because, you know, they had shut off the power, so the street lights they're taking a while to come back on. They get dialed in. My grandmother's like, look, we got to go to the store. We got to go. And we couldn't go to the store in the hood. We had to go outside the area because everything was burnt down in the area, like mom and pop shops, liquor stores. Shit was burnt, man. The local grocery stores were burnt down and looted. So, and then,
Damn. Okay. Now, you in the prior conversation, you told me that you guys end up getting evicted from that house that you lived in.
yeah, so yeah, man, like, so like later on, I would say like, I got evicted. Well, my grandmother got sick. They put her in a convalescent home, and my mom was taking over the house. She was, you know, struggling financially.
Yeah.
And couldn't pay the mortgage. And my uncle came through and gave us the boot, you know. So, you know, so he evicted us. He got the sheriffs and all that, evicted us out of that house, the house that we grew up in.
Yeah.
And here we are, homeless again, looking for somewhere to live, somewhere to be.
And where'd you guys go? Do you remember where you guys went after
At that time,
eviction?
Went to Culver City or Palms, you know.
Right,
so right on the border.
Yeah.
My mom was able to find something, 2-bedroom apartment, and you know that was my introduction to Palms. I didn't know shit about that side of the town, and
Right.
was living over there.
Yeah. I'm familiar with the area. Okay. And how long are you in Palms?
I think we're in Palms for. I was in Palms for probably like about a year, a little more than a year, because I was in school when he evicted us, so that was a big transition. And then my mom kicked me out right after graduation. She gave me the boot.
Did you transfer schools as well when you guys moved, or were you still going to school?
I was still going to school. I was still going to Washington. I mean, I could have went to school over there. Could have went to Hamilton. But at that time, I you know, I had already been to Hamilton and didn't want to go back. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Can you recall some of the early artists or crews that influenced you to start doing graffiti?
I mean, I think the people, the artists that influenced me was, of course, GK, the Fox 11 News special.
Yeah.
That dude got me. That was interesting. And then Cope 2. Cope 2, we watched that Kings Destroy video like 20 times. So I just felt like if that dude can do throwies the same style over and over, then I want to be the West Coast Cope 2. So, and then last but not least was Search. Search was somebody I used to see his stickers all the time, and then I finally met him, and this dude was like, he kind of took care of me, you know, like he treated me like a brother, a little brother and shit. So those are the three artists that influenced me. But as far as crews, I would say, you know, the first is probably MSK LTS, but like the crews that really inspired me and really kept me going are the crews in South Central. So that's gonna be SAP,
SAP.
SAP,
Okay.
EKs, the NCs,
Okay.
the KHs.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you got the CDPs, you got the TCKs, you know, the IWUs, the UPNs, WBLs, W2Ks, MKAs. These are South Central crews.
Yeah.
Really inspired me and gave me a good perspective.
Yeah. Okay. At what age did you start actually writing?
I started writing late as fuck, like late, man, like 18 years old. I picked it up, you know, so, and that was unheard of. Like people were just like, niggas, people start writing at 12 and 13, and I just picked it up at 18. But however, today's times, people are picking it up at 33, 49, 56, 33. So,
yeah, I was just going to say that.
Till we stay home, man.
Yeah, yeah. Did you ever, when you were young, did you ever think of an age where you'd be like done with graffiti? Did you be like maybe at 30 or 40 or something like that I'll be done?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't think like before prison.
Yeah.
I was like, you know, I would only go so far, you know, because I was like, as I was going into 2006, I was more focused on getting my mom a house, getting some whips, and moving away, you know, traveling the world.
Okay. And you did do a little bit of that, right? You have traveled to different countries?
Now I have, yeah. Now after prison, I made a bucket list, and I'm still living that bucket list.
Yeah.
Traveling the world, international, and living it up for the people that can't travel, and for the all the people I met in prison and are lifers that will never get to see freedom ever again.
Yeah. That's tough, man. Can you share with us how you came up with your name Sight, and if you had any other names prior to Sight?
You know, shit, man, I wish I can be like some OGs that had the same name forever, but I think the first name was Nasty. No, what was it? Blah?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It was Blah, then Nasty, and then there was another name, I think Sync, like SINC or some shit like that.
Yeah.
And then I finally came up with Sight,
Mm-hmm.
because that meant a lot to me.
How much time did you spend writing each name? Did you lose a lot of time, like writing each name?
You know, like I probably in the beginning stages, I probably wrote it for a couple months. You know, I mean, there was a time where I was writing Sight, then I stopped writing Sight and was writing another name for like 3 months.
Yeah. Okay.
And then writing Sight again. So like another name was Enoch. I was writing Enoch.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like not long, man. Like just wrote those names for a few months, filling it out. Yeah. Getting it, learning the game.
Okay. And so you finally settle on Sight.
Yep.
And did you just like the letter combination, or or what's the story of how you came up with Sight or settled on Sight?
Well, Sight was just like, I used to talk to a lot of people, and people were like, you have a lot of insight. And then
Mm-hmm.
I was like, cool. And then I built on that from having insight to development into a mind sight. So I like that. I felt it fit with me.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was fucking around with the numerology and shit,
Mm-hmm.
and added up the letters and all that shit, and it created this number that resonates with me and shit like that.
Oh, okay.
So I was like, I gotta run with this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, dope, man, dope. And what year was that you settled on Sight?
I was like probably if 99, end of 99.
Okay.
End of 99.
In 99?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. And so once you actually decided to actually start doing graffiti, what did your mom and your grandma say?
Like my grandmother never knew I did graffiti. I think she ended up in a convalescent home, so she never really saw that expression,
Mm-hmm.
those expressions of me. My mom seen it, and I was still riding the bus, and she didn't really know I was doing graffiti till I was on the, riding the bus with her, and I was catching scribes and shit with her on the bus, and putting up slap tags and catching little spots here and there. And she was just like, like, you shouldn't be doing that. You
Yeah.
shouldn't be doing that. And I'm like, look, chill, mom, I got this. This is what it is. So, and she'll see my slap tag on the bus. She'll come home from work. Like, I seen your slap tags up. You know you're not supposed to be doing that. Like, whatever, man. Like, this is what it is. This is life.
Yeah.
So
She really did press the issue too much?
Nah, my mom was big on letting people have their freedom, because I felt like, I think she, as a kid, she was very much sheltered and wasn't allowed to go out of the house at night until she was 18. So she didn't want us to live that life.
Yeah.
So she gave us like crazy freedom to do a lot of different things.
Was she raised in LA?
Yeah, she was born in DC, raised in LA.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. Could you maybe describe your mom's, or give us maybe share a story or describe your mom's personality? Or describe what type of person she is?
My mom crazy, man. She a Pisces, so you know how Pisces are, motherfucking crazy motherfuckers. So she was cool, like, quiet, independent. She need her space to recharge. Family orientated, loves her kids, spoils them. Don't talk about her feelings, don't want to talk about much, want to, take on the whole world by herself, shit like that.
Yeah.
Good with budgeting and had a good sense of humor when she was in a good mood. But other than that, she was, just dealing with the world as a single mom, trying to keep us fed, man. We were homeless a lot, so we were on the streets a lot, sleeping in cars a lot. So I know she didn't want that for us, and she did the best she could in a man's world.
Yeah. Now we talked. You did mention to me that you guys, for a while, were kind of, sleeping at parks and stuff like that.
Yep.
And that was tough to hear, man. I hate to hear when people go through, those type of hardships.
Yeah.
It really resonates with me, and
Yeah.
But damn. Were there, when you first started Graff Site, did you encounter any challenges? Find anything difficult with graffiti?
I mean, when I started doing graffiti, man, like,
what were some of the challenges? Let me rephrase the question. What were some of the earlier challenges?
The challenge was I was toy as fuck. I was toy, and I didn't know the game. So, and nobody, back then, that era, nobody was trying to teach you the game. No, if you were a toy, nobody was fucking with you. Nobody get the fuck away from me. It's just like, so that was a challenge to learn what graffiti is without having a teacher. I had to teach myself.
Yeah.
I had to train myself, go out there by myself, and figure it out and make a lot of mistakes, piss a lot of people off.
Yeah.
And that was the challenge. Like,
Mm-hmm.
that was a big challenge because I could have, like, just given it up. Like, why am I doing this shit?
Yeah.
You know, but something about it, you know, called to me, spoke to me, and I kept on with it.
Yeah. Did you ever contemplate quitting
I think
at any point?
when I was from, like, BWI, when I was, like, first got into that crew, because I didn't really understand the graffiti world and the politics.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a lot of tag banging with BWI, so I didn't understand it, you know, because I was in it for the hip hop.
Yeah.
The hip hop aspect of it. And, you know, like, every time I got caught, and every time I got caught and went to jail, I'm like, damn, dude, I don't know if I'm gonna be doing this shit no more. I don't know if it's worth it,
Yeah.
you know, like, getting caught up for little shit. And I'll be like, I don't think I want to do this no more. But then once I get back on the street, I'm like, it's on.
Yeah. Okay.
There we go.
How many times have you been caught before the big arrest?
I probably got caught like 6 or 7 times.
Okay.
Yeah, 6 or 7 times.
Did you ever get caught like bombing, or was it just tagging and scribing?
I got caught bombing a couple of
Okay.
times, you know, just rookie shit, man. Just
Mm-hmm.
getting caught up and living and learning and shit, you know. But yeah, I got caught up a few times, went to the glass house and shit, yeah.
So they had you already with the name site?
I'm not sure, man. You know.
Or was it one of the other names that you...
No, it was Sight.
Oh,
it was Sight,
okay.
you know, but I'm not sure if they, you know, were able to make out what I was doing, you know, figure out if it said Sight or not.
Yeah. Okay. The what year was it when you got raided?
That was the year I got raided was 2006.
Okay.
Like about a week before Thanksgiving.
Okay, so November 2006 rolls around.
Mm-hmm.
So that day comes. Can you walk us maybe to like the 10 minutes before the raid happens?
I was in the bed and then you know, hearing you know, some knocks on the door. Boom, 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 boom. I'm like, I'm in the bed. I'm not getting out.
Yeah.
And then my auntie was like, somebody at the door. I was like, don't even answer that shit. Like, let them knock.
Right.
And her crazy ass gonna open the door. And because we had those old school locks, they weren't knocking that shit down. We had that good security door. They weren't gonna get in that motherfucker, but her crazy ass opened the door and they motherfucker bust in like a supermarket sweep shit. Like they just bust in with guns, rifles, with the beam on them and the scope, and I'm like, oh shit.
Who was there at the time? Just you and your aunt?
Just me and my auntie. Yeah, that was just us at the house.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
What did they say to you?
Oh, they just say they screaming like like cops do, screaming and acting crazy. Get down on the ground, get down on the ground. Where's the drugs and the guns? Where's the drugs and the guns? Like, there's no drugs and guns in here, man. Like, they screaming that shit as they run through the house.
Mm-hmm.
I got 3 lasers pointing at me. And I'm like, damn, like they got the wrong person, man. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
drugs and guns?
Right.
Nah, not right here. Unless you trying to plant some shit.
So at this point, you have no idea that it's for Graff.
No idea, man. They playing some mean ass catfish.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And then they take you out to the car, and then you said they were tearing up your house at this time. Like,
Nah, first they get me out the hallway that's to go to the room I was in. They pull me out into the dining room because my grandmother had a big ass house.
Mm-hmm.
So she had it was 2 bedrooms on one side, 1 bedroom on the other side. There was a family room, dining room, living room, and another family room.
Mm-hmm.
So they pulled me out, had me on my knees, hands behind my back, handcuffed, and my boxers and shit.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm watching them run through the house, tear up the house, like on some straight training day shit. When they do trying to get that dude for his money and shit.
Mm-hmm.
They all in my shit, like tearing shit up.
Okay. They take you to the squad car, and then that's when they tell you, like, that it's for Graff?
Nah, like I get the first they play good cop, bad cop, and then they tell me Judge Ito signed a warrant for me for my arrest.
Okay.
And they were bragging like that's the same judge from O.J. Simpson case. So
Right.
man, I don't give a fuck about O.J.
Right.
But they bring out some clothes and then they walk me to the cop car, and that's when I noticed that this is about the graffiti because it had the Metro symbol on the side of the police car, and just they walk me out, pants, no belt, shoes, no socks.
Yeah.
They just found some random shirt.
Yeah.
And then I'm just, holding my head down. I look up, just like 300-400 people surrounding the house, like the block in the house. And then, so they got me in the interrogation room. And they had their way with me. They took advantage of me. They know I didn't know my rights.
I want to kind of just drill them down because this, I think, could possibly help somebody in the future if they know the type of games that are being played in interrogation room. So, what did they say to you when they're interrogating you?
I mean, they had all my shit. So, like, I didn't know I was going to get raided like that. So I had so much incriminating evidence against me in my room that they raided, Didn't have time to lock my phone. I didn't have time to get ready for that because I didn't think that would ever happen. And it wasn't happening.
Yeah.
But in the interrogation room, they had my phone, my Boost mobile chirp. I don't got people's names. I don't got code names of people. So it's like they got their names in there with their phone number.
Mm-hmm.
So that was a burn. Mm-hmm. They had access to all these niggas' numbers and shit.
Yeah.
And then they took pictures on my tattoos.
Yeah.
And then they just had a big stack, like just photos like that, about a foot high, with all my shit. And I'm flipping through it, and they were like, we need you to. I'm like, oh, this shit is old, homie.
Yeah.
This shit is old as fuck. Like,
and it was all scribes.
Mostly scribes. Right? They have pictures of the throwies and all kind of shit, but they were just like, if you sign these papers to a more recent date, we're gonna get you out of here today.
Okay.
And I was like, all right, cool. All right. So they had me sign only the ones that they knew would stick.
Mm-hmm.
And I wrote it with a more recent date. Signed my name on that shit, which is now I know like I'm not even supposed to talk to them in an interrogation room without a lawyer being present. I'm not even supposed to say anything, but silly me.
Yeah.
Not knowing my shit. I hope this story, lets people know, but not the people that don't know, that cops are allowed to lie to get their shit, to get their information. Cops don't have to tell the truth, and they could just play this good cop shit and lie to you and make fake deals with you and they can take it back at any moment. So a cop is never your friend. They're sworn to the badge, and they're not for the people. They for the hierarchies.
Yeah.
You know.
Okay. Let's talk about after that. You said how you were assigned a public defender at first.
Yeah. Yeah.
Who it sounded like he was probably had your best interest.
I mean, I got this public defender when I didn't even know like what I was facing.
Yeah.
Until I got to court, because these motherfuckers didn't even tell me anything. They didn't tell shit. They just, made a promise and left me in a cell to rot. So they left me for dead. And my first lawyer was just like, look, I'm like, man, give me some probation, homie. I'm ready to go home. Give me 3 years, 7 years, whatever. I'm good. I got shit to do. And he's just like, nah, you can't walk about it here, homie. You looking at 34 years. You got $1 million bail. You're looking at over $100,000 in restitution. Like you're not going home on that kind of shit. So he was just like, look, I'm gonna get you a year. A county lid. I'm gonna get you. Can you do a year? I'm like, fuck it. I could do a year. Year sound better than 34. So he's like, look, let me take care of everything. I'm gonna get you down to a year, homie, because what they're trying to do is they're trying to make an example out of you. They're trying to destroy your image, your reputation. They're trying to like really like hang you up on the cross. They're trying to railroad you, homie. Yeah. And I was like, damn, that's fucked up. Over some graff though, or some motherfucking graffiti though. Like, what the fuck? Like, this is over some graff beef. Like, this nigga is molesting kids and shit, man. This motherfuckers doing strong arm robbery. This motherfuckers doing the worst, beating up women and shit. But this is the shit that's horrible. This is the shit that gets the most time. Yeah. Like, what the fuck? So the world's fucked up. I mean, the justice system's fucked up. Yeah. When graffiti is, I get more time than a pedophile. Yeah. So.
Okay. So your public defender, the first one that was assigned to you, said they get you a year. Yeah. And then what happens next? They reassign your case, right, to a different.
I mean, the case is going good. They have metro engineers and mechanics testifying against me. They have the sheriffs, bitch ass motherfuckers, on the stage testifying against me, and I'm like, damn, y'all niggas like, all right, I see how it is. And then, case is going good. Lawyer's like, I got this. I got you. Get you a year. I'm like, say less. Like, get me home, man. Yeah. Give me this year. I could do a year. Fuck it. And then, went back. And then they told me, you're going to a different court. You're not going back to that one with that lawyer. Yeah. I was like, what the fuck? Like, what? Like, what kind of shit is that? That's some like straight Illuminati shit right there. You guys trying to really stick it to me and shit. You really trying to make an example out of me. Yeah. Yeah.
And so they paired you up with probably a public defender that they knew was probably lazy or just basically didn't fight for, for the people.
They gave me motherfucking this white lady, public defender, puppet, whatever she is, but she was just like, I'm not fighting for you. I'm not doing nothing for you.
And she told you those exact words? Yeah, I'm not fighting
like,
for you.
I'm not, yeah. She's like, I'm not doing this. Like, I'm not doing this. I'm not fighting for you. And I'm like, well, isn't that your job? Like, is that your job? But, like, little I know, now I know I can fire my lawyer. Right. I can grow pro per, but I didn't even know all that shit. So it's so important for everybody in the hood to know your rights. Know your rights. Know you can fire a lawyer. You can fire a public defender. You can fire them. Know the difference between an attorney and a lawyer. Know that you don't talk to cops. Only talk to your lawyer or whatever, attorney, whatever. Whichever one knows law best that can represent you in court. And you can represent yourself in court. You know what I'm saying? So, but that lawyer didn't give a shit about me, man.
Yeah. What did she say? She comes back and says that
She just
8 years, or what was the?
I was like, man, she just said take the deal, and I was like, well, I didn't even. My other lawyer didn't even tell me what the deal was.
Right.
What is the deal? Like,
Yeah.
she like, oh, the deal is 8 years, 8 months. I'm like, what? That is not a deal. She's like, look, you either take the deal, do the deal, you get out, good behavior, you get out in like 5 or 6 years, or we can take it to trial, and you'll probably lose because they got so much evidence against you, and you'll do 17 years. And I'm like, dude, like, you are not.
Mm-hmm.
You a fucked up ass lawyer, man. And I was like, you know what? Can I go back to my cell and think about it? She was like, nope, you can't. I'm like, what the fuck? What kind of shit is this, man?
Yeah.
So, she's like, you got 5 minutes to make a decision. So I was like, you know what, man? Like, after being in county jail for weeks, that shit wears on you.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what? Let me just take the deal and catch the train and do some time and get away from this shit. I was already stressed out. I was already like, feeling it, sick, dealing with, all the Crips and Bloods and Hoovers in there and shit. So I took the deal.
Yeah.
You
signed the paperwork for eight and a half?
8 years, 8 months.
And of those 8 years and 8 months, how much time did you actually serve?
Man, I went in 2007, so 8, 9, 10, 2007, 2008, 2009, 2010. So I did like 4.5.
Okay.
4.5 years off that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you ever even think about maybe just hiring an attorney rather than relying on the public defender?
Like, I didn't think about hiring an attorney or a lawyer or whatever because I thought the first one was gonna do his thing.
Yeah.
So by the time I get to her, there was no time to like, I didn't know I could just fire her and be like, hey, or ask the judge for a different legal counsel. I didn't know that shit.
Yeah.
And that's the shit that we need to know.
Yeah. Right.
If niggas is doing dirt, you need to know your laws. You need to know your shit, man, because that's just gonna help you out in the long run. We need, but more importantly, we need lawyers and attorneys that are gonna represent us. No, I if we knew that, we would have pieced up and got a lawyer. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Or I would have asked for a different lawyer. But we were so confident in the first one, and I think the courts and those racist ass judges saw that shit, and they were just like, nah, we're not letting this happen. So
when do you start hitting the streets again, man? After that release?
I didn't hit the streets. I didn't start doing graffiti again until I got off parole. Okay. So I had a strict program for myself. I think I might have did some piecing at Novels Landmark Shop, maybe. I'm not sure, but my whole program that first year was to get discharged, and I didn't go out at night unless I was going to work or really had to. I stayed in the house in the daytime and shit. Yeah, I wasn't on the streets at all because these crooked ass cops can violate your parole for any reason. Yeah, if you come in contact with them.
Out of all the spots that you've hit in your graffiti journey site, are there any memorable ones that come to mind? Any favorite spots that you want to highlight or talk about?
I got a few spots. I think my most number one favorite all time is the billboard that's running on Florence of Vermont. That motherfucker's been running for about 23 years. That spot's been running. I just went up there recently to fix it, touch it up. But dope spot. The first time I hit it, I hit it with Fist, and he's immortalized on that billboard. Yeah. The first time I went, there was a ladder. It was easier to get in. And then the second time I went back, probably like not too long ago. Back when I first hit it, I was 160. Now I'm like 200 pounds, so it was tough to get up there. They had taken the ladder down, so I had to like climb up there, find that out, climb back down, grab my little telescope ladder, throw that on my back, climb 2 gates, climb another gate, scale the building, then put that motherfucking ladder up to the back of it. And then when I get up there, the ladder falls over and shit. So when you're up there on the back of it, you don't see all the bullshit that's on there. There's like layers and layers of bird shit. I went when it was kind of like in the winter time, and it's wet, it's slippery. I'm on the back of the billboard. It's not a regular billboard, so it's real slip. I almost slipped like 2 or 3 times and shit. I'm painting. The hotel's right behind it. I swear there was probably some people watching me painting and shit in their hotel room with the door open and shit. And, you know, I had to do some Rambo, Arnold Schwarzenegger shit to jump off the shit and roll onto the roof. Mind you, 7-Eleven's open, so I'm hoping they don't hear me doing all this ninja shit on top of the roof. But that is my number one spot that I favor a lot.
Yeah, you know, I used to drive down Vermont for like a year straight, and I never noticed that billboard. And but now that you've mentioned it, like I'll be checking for it every time I pass by.
I mean, it's not. If you know, you know. If you know about it, you look up like, oh shit, that's just still there.
Yeah, I was surprised. Like, how the hell did I miss this, bro?
Oh yeah. That's all good.
That is a hell of a spot, bro.
Yeah.
Because typically billboards don't last.
Nah.
You know.
I didn't think it was gonna run that long, but it's been running for 23 years.
Yeah, that's dope, man.
That's a fucking crazy landmark.
Hell yeah. On the main street?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a dope spot.
Yeah.
Props on that one, Psych. You got any other spots, bro, that you're proud of?
You know,
special to you?
I probably the spot right there off of King Coliseum. That spot, it was an interesting spot to hit because, I think L.A, the TKOs had it, and then at the end of their beef, they were slashing each other up on that wall. So it was a real sensitive wall that I don't think a lot of people wanted to hit. And then
who got slashed?
I think the TKOs got slashed.
Oh,
I think they slashed Delay first, and then they came back and slashed the TKO. But that was during their last of their beef days, and then it was just sitting there, man, and people were catching tags here and there, and I was like, man, that'll be a dope spot. And I was looking at it for like about a year.
Okay, that long before you decided to hit him?
Maybe. Yeah, I was looking at that shit for a long ass time.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, fuck that shit. I'm gonna go hit it. Now, my plan was to hit the left side, but I ended up in the right side. But so, like, I didn't know how to get up on that motherfucker. So I was like, damn, I need to go up through the front. I'm like, no, I can't go up through the front. So I was like, damn, I'm gonna go up through the freeway. So I walked on the on-ramp, walked all the way around. I mean, motherfuckers don't pay attention to people now with all the zombies and crackheads walking around these days. Well, people don't look at people twice.
Right.
And I don't look like a writer or anything like that. I look like some fat dude that's, some fat black guy that just maybe be on drugs and shit.
Yeah.
So like I'm walking up, I walk to the on-ramp, I walk onto the freeway, walking and shit. A few people honking their horns and shit. And then I try to pull myself up on the first one. I was tall enough to reach it.
Right.
But it wasn't enough to pull myself up. There's a big ass, tall ass wall. You don't think it's tall until you actually get there.
Yeah.
So I was like, damn, I need a bucket. So I was like, all right. So I was like, I need something to stand on. So I walked back off. And the homeless people always got good shit. So I saw they had a bucket. So I walked off the freeway, back down the on-ramp. Found a bucket, got the bucket from the homeless people. Promised I'll bring it back. Went back up the on-ramp, walked back on the freeway, put the bucket right there, stood on top of the bucket, pulled myself up, jump on the wall, and I'm like, once I get on the wall, I'm like, whoa, there's a gap in between the wall and the building, probably about 2 feet gap. So you gotta lean over the painting. If you fall, it's a fucking 100-foot drop and shit. As you go more to the right, the building turns outward. If you go to the left, the building turns outward too. So here I am walking across the wall like this, like, and I got my paint in my hoodie, one can in my hoodie, one in my pocket and shit, and I got my tips, and I had 2 cans, and I'm holding the wall and painting at the same time. And then every time I finish the letter, I have to push myself off the wall, move over some more, come back, paint some more, push myself off the wall. And then as you look at the bottom, it's like my letter gets regular, and then it starts getting a little smaller as it goes, because the wall was separating more and more, and I can only reach so far.
Yeah.
Yeah, so.
I see, I'm on the 110 often.
Yeah.
And I've seen it, and just, it looks like it's within arm's reach.
Yeah. Yeah.
From the wall.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then when we talked, he told me, nah, there's a 2 or 3 foot gap, and then it gets wider as it reaches the edge. And then there's about 100 foot.
Yeah, it's a good drop. You're gonna fall for about,
so that's
3-4 seconds.
Yeah, that's a crazy spot.
Yeah.
And it doesn't look like that from the freeway when you're driving by.
Nah.
And that's a crazy spot.
I'm surprised it's still running, man. It's getting a lot of traffic and shit. So
so that's another good spot too. Yeah, high visibility for sure, bro. Mm-hmm. Dope. Is there any other spots, man, that come to mind that we could talk about that you want to highlight?
I like this spot I caught over here by Gladstones. If people are real familiar with Malibu, I love Malibu. They got some of the best restaurants. Check out Gladstones. Check out Duke's. If you don't know about it, hit me up. I'll take you. We big eating over there. We big pimping and shit over there. But this spot, I went to Gladstones one day, and Gladstones is one of those restaurants that's right on the beach.
Yeah.
There's a lot of restaurants on the beach in Malibu, and we got done eating and we went down to the beach, and there was this wall right there, like a drain wall. So it's right there, and when I seen it, I was like, damn, I want to hit that wall, because somebody had some tags on it, and I want to hit that wall. I was like, damn, I want that shit. But the water was high. The water was high. And I was like, damn, when does the water go low, go back in? And I found out that it's early in the morning. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna make my way back over there. And it's a mission, because Malibu ain't close to South Central. Right. So, drove over there. Man, and I found it hard. It was so romantic and shit, because the beach is dead. No one's walking over there.
What time did you hit it?
I hit it like 6 in the morning.
Oh, okay.
5:36, and the tide of water goes back out. Some romantic shit right there, like bombing with gel and shit, but doing this spot right here, that was some romantic shit, because I'm painting on the beach.
Yeah.
You got the roar of the ocean going them out. And I got my cans, and everything was working right. No clogging, no drips. And I'm just like, boof, boom, 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 boom. Like, it was dope, man. Good times.
Yeah.
Walking on the beach and painting and shit. That shit was some romantic shit right there.
Was there anybody out at the beach at that time?
No, nobody at the beach, man.
Dead?
Dead.
Oh, wow.
Friday night, I'm out there, doing my thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Dope, man. That's a dope spot.
Yeah.
That's a dope spot, man. I can't wait to check it out in person.
Yeah.
Hopefully there's room right there for me. No, I'm just
That's plenty. I mean,
no,
you get it, man.
How do you think graffiti has helped you develop as a person?
Graffiti has been my life coach. So it's been a love story, a romance, and it's been a sweet experience, and I'm married to the game.
Yeah.
You know, so I love this shit, and it's taught me about love, hate, politics,
Mm-hmm.
um, spirituality, you know, self improvement, self care, you know, metaphysical shit. So graffiti has unlocked a lot of different things for me and changed me in ways that nothing else in this world has, besides watching my kids being born. But
Yeah.
that's it, man.
Okay. What do you think the hardest lesson that you've encountered with graffiti?
I think the hardest lesson that I encounter with graffiti is probably my ego. Um, you know, like as going from a toy to getting up and getting a little bit of fame, your
Mm-hmm.
ego probably expands and probably over expands. And I think everybody gets to that level one point in time where you just think you're bigger than everybody.
Yeah.
So I feel like graffiti is like spiritual, right?
Mm-hmm.
And when we write on walls, it's kind of like sigils or kind of like markings and shit. And when you write that shit over and over, it charges it up. And not only do you charge it up as you write it though, but like every time people see it, they
Mm-hmm.
give power to it. And that transfers that power to you. Kind of like what, you know, how people worship gods and shit
Mm-hmm.
on that kind of level, but they're not worshiping you on that in that aspect, but people are seeing you. They're acknowledging who you are, that
Yeah.
tag, that piece, and they're giving you energy and shit,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then if you're not uh, mature enough and know how to deal with that kind of energy and shit,
Yeah.
you could and take that in, the adoration, that attention,
Mm-hmm.
that energy that's being sent to you.
Mm-hmm.
You can take that shit in the wrong way,
Yeah.
and it'll fuck up your ego, and you start becoming, instead of taking that energy and becoming somebody that brings people together and heals and builds,
Mm-hmm.
you start to become this person that starts to destroy everything around you
Mm-hmm.
and become very toxic and shit.
Did you find yourself struggling with that, like an ego? Did you
Oh yeah, of
like a?
course, yeah. So like, you know, when you first get fame and people start knowing you and the people are sending that energy and
Mm-hmm.
giving you that kind of energy,
Mm-hmm.
it's like fresh jewels that you never had before, so you don't know. So I did struggle with that.
Mm-hmm.
Big ass ego,
Mm-hmm.
talking big shit, doing wild shit, thinking, reacting before thinking.
Mm-hmm.
And I was, you know, I lost a lot of friends like that.
Yeah.
A lot of beef started like that. Um, Made a lot of bad decisions like that that hurt other people in the graffiti world. So,
Mm-hmm.
you know, I was like Kobe Bryant #8,
Mm-hmm.
cocky as fuck,
Mm-hmm.
and then going to prison and getting humbled
Yeah.
and becoming Kobe #24 and shit. You know,
Yeah.
like really more wise,
Yeah.
thinking, more strategic, and really dedicating myself to this craft.
Yeah. Damn. Okay. Have you? Now you said you'd had, with that ego, created a lot of beefs and stuff.
Hmm.
Have you, like, settled all your
I mean,
beefs from the
I hope
past?
so, man. Like, you know, rest in peace, Digital. Me and him, we got into a fight at Project Blow.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he got drunk and said some wild shit. We ended up fighting,
Yeah.
and we beefed for a long time. And that was a beef that really hurt
Yeah.
the Graff Game, especially the South Central
Mm-hmm.
community of Graff. That really hurt because I was in my ego, he was
Mm-hmm.
in his ego, and then, you know, we could have squashed that and really built some shit
Right.
for
Right.
South Central graffiti
Yeah.
heads and for the game in L.A. because he was
Yeah.
a cool kid
Mm-hmm.
and he had a big influence on people. So rest in peace,
Yeah.
Digital. He just passed away not too long
Yeah.
ago. But you know, yeah.
Oh, well, okay. Cool. Now you started around 99, 2000 site.
Hmm.
Could you describe, like, the evolution of LA graph scene then, now,
I
to
mean,
today?
I think it ebb and flows, you know,
Yeah.
like I think it was at its peak, um, early 2000s. It was popping.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was popping before 2000, like late 90s. It was popping, but it got to
Mm-hmm.
that, it was reaching a peak and then it dropped a lot when they started raiding people back in, 06 and '07 when they were raiding everybody.
Yeah.
Um, but it's getting back to that place again. I feel like the evolution of graffiti, um, it depends on, if we're talking about LA,
Yeah. Yeah. I'm strictly talking about LA.
you know, I see less tag banging, you know.
Yeah.
There was a lot more tag banging back then in the late 90s. Um,
Let me ask you something really quick. You said it reached, in your opinion, the height like in '06
I play like the early
or
2000s.
early.
It
Okay.
was a lot of that shit because you got the buses.
Okay. What about just the paintings, like the bombing scene? Because there's a lot of it now.
I mean,
You think it was more then than
no,
now?
no, it's about the same. I mean,
Okay.
like, you know, back then people were bombing like crazy back then, and they bombing
Mm-hmm.
like crazy right now. Like back then, you
Yeah.
had Liar from D2C. I don't know what
Mm-hmm.
happened to that dude. You know, Bucket. You had the LTSs doing burners and shit
Mm-hmm.
like that. You know what I'm saying? Like
Mm-hmm.
they were active and shit. And then fast forward to the day, now you got just different crews, different people doing it. You got
Mm-hmm.
Bud, Scheme. You know, you got MTAs are doing their thing. They smashing No Mas and them. They doing their thing. So it's still. I mean, you look at the Ocean Wide Towers.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
shit's still lit.
Yeah.
Shit's still lit out here.
Because I think, like when I was, comparing it to like the late '90s, I think
Hmm.
there's more today than there was. I just see more, I guess, and it's
Uh,
making me think that there's more writers
nah,
today. But you think it's about the same
it's
now?
about the same.
Yeah.
I mean, it slowed
Okay.
up. It slowed up. Like uh, it slowed up, but like 2008 to
Mm-hmm.
12, I feel like it slowed up a little bit, but it's back to where it's at, man. Like you
Mm-hmm.
look at downtown
Yeah.
LA,
Mm-hmm.
downtown LA is smacked the fuck up.
Yeah.
And right now, more than ever, you got people competing for spots, capping each other for spots, and
Yeah.
but it was the same back then too. Um, you know, there's a lot, and he had a lot of people bombing. Like
Yeah.
I'm bombing. There's a lot of girls bombing back then too. You got girls bombing like now. Like it just the same energy is there. It's just the players in the game would change.
Yeah.
Yeah,
For sure. What do you think about social media? You like it? You a fan of it or?
I'm not real
Or
big. I'm not a fan of social media
yeah.
because you know for certain people that's what J Cole say. Some people make money and some people make memes. I mean, some
Mm-hmm.
people that's their thing. Like
Yeah.
uh, I mean, people have always been sharing their graph
Yeah.
and their stories through photographs and video.
Mm-hmm.
That's always been happening. Like back in the day, people have photo albums of
Yeah.
all the spots they
Right.
hit and had like VHS little handheld shit of
Mm-hmm.
what they did. We had the War 1, 2, and 3 videos.
Yeah.
We were buying the videos and the skate videos that had the graffiti that would showcase everybody's art. So I think Instagram is just an evolution of the people that do graffiti and show graffiti on Instagram is just an evolution of that.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. What's the what's the end game for you? So how long do you see yourself being involved with graffiti?
Man, I see myself doing it until I got no more fingers, man.
Yeah.
I don't see myself ever stopping. I might slow down here and there, but
Mm-hmm.
um, I'm in those streets.
Mm-hmm.
I'm married to the game. When those kids get older and move out the house, I'm out there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna be Big Drew, Big Drewski out there. It's out there with all the youngsters and shit. I'm gonna be Big Drewski.
Yeah.
OTR, RTDK. Shout out to Drew.
Dope. Okay. Are there any words of wisdom, man, that you could share with maybe some of your crewmates, youngsters coming up that don't have really, anybody to give them the game?
I would say, like, if you trying to do graffiti, you new to the game, you don't know shit, do your research. Try to find out if those crews exist. There's a crew, I'm not gonna say their crew. There's a crew right now. They made up a crew, already exists,
Mm-hmm.
and they're over here capping everybody and doing all this wild toy shit.
Mm-hmm.
Do your research first before you make up a crew that already exists.
Mm-hmm.
I'm only speaking to them. They're in South Central.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not talking about other crews, but I'm just talking about them. But I would say, like, try to find you a mentor to show you the ropes so you can get to keep you out of trouble. Because a lot of these guys that do graffiti, especially the OGs, they don't play.
Yeah.
And I got smacked and fucked up a few times for doing some wild ass shit that I didn't understand. And so I wouldn't want that to happen to someone else. And if you can't find nobody, shit, drop me a DM. Let's talk about it. You got questions? I'll be your mentor. So it won't be like, it'll be less conflict, less fights, less bloodshed, and more respect put on these people's names and respect for the elders that came before us and respect for the graffiti guys that have gone past.
Yeah. Dope, man. You're gonna get a bunch of DMs, man.
We gotta do something, man.
Yeah.
We gotta do something.
Yeah. I hear you. That's dope, dog. All right. Are you working on anything, man, that we should be looking out for? Any projects, anything that you want to share with us?
I got a short doc coming out.
Yeah. What's the call?
Called Love Letters.
Love Letters. Okay.
That's being edited right now. That we're gonna start shooting that to different film festivals. I'll drop the trailer soon on IG, social media platforms, and we're just trying to get the story of graffiti and articulate graffiti on different platforms for different audiences.
What's that about? Just briefly.
I mean, Love Letters. Love Letters is just about my story, how I grew up, and
Okay.
how I did the time.
Yeah.
And how I love this shit, like how I'm really love this shit. I really love the fuck out of graffiti. If I can fuck it, I would.
Yeah.
But I love the fuck out of it, man. Blood, sweat, and tears, prison time, jail time, beef. I'm still doing it. So, and that's one thing we're working on, and I'm working on. We got the spray paint therapy classes for people that want to learn how to decompress and get in touch with their true selves through spray paint.
Okay. And where can, if people want to find out more info?
They want to find out more info about that, they can just send me a DM.
Okay.
I got that on another account. It's a secret account. Yeah. So
okay, cool.
Yeah.
And I noticed you had a merch.
Oh yeah, we got the merch
website.
Man, we're just trying to make clothes for graffiti artists, man.
Yeah.
Like we're a graffiti community. We should be making clothes for ourselves.
Yeah.
Not wearing so much clothes of other people that don't really represent us. So
yeah,
we should be making clothes for ourselves. So I got a little bit of clothes on the website, www.sitezilla.com. If you see some shit that you don't like on there, you don't see nothing you want, hit me up. I'll make it for you and we'll sell it. I'm all about making clothes for the community, for the graffiti community.
Yeah.
And supporting our graffiti community and bringing together our graffiti community. We all we got. Like, we got everybody against us. We got the gang members on us. We got the cops on us. We got the heroes, the conservatives. We got everybody is pointing their finger and guns at us. And we got to just come together, stick together, and build. We got the street artists, too. The street artists doing that.
What is that, street artists?
What, street art?
Yeah, oh yeah, would you say it now?
That the street artist is not liking us either. So
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I thought
yeah.
okay. Thought that was maybe the title of a project or
Oh,
something.
no.
Okay. Misunderstood you.
Street art, they're taking up all the space, man.
Yeah. Okay. Dope.
Yeah.
Lastly, before we get out of here, Sight, the spot while you got the spotlight on you,
Mm-hmm.
you want to give any shout outs to anybody?
I mean, like, I don't know how to say her name. I think it's Majo. It's Majho. I don't know how you spell it.
No, I'm not sure.
But shout out to her, the homegirl in Venezuela. I want to give a shout out to all the people that do graffiti right now around the world.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to you. If I don't know you, I want to meet you. Be safe out there. Shout out to all the people that used to do graffiti. They want to be out there. They're itching to get out there, but they got to be responsible parents or responsible for something. And we're going to hold it down for you, even though you can't get out there. And then just rest in peace to the homies that have died, man. Like Novel, Jackal, Surge, Jail, John 57. I know my boy Net hate that nigga, but who else? It's Smack, BMF, Over, Thor from TTK, Sadak, Blake, the Snake from 29C, Lear, I think he was from BWI. There's some other people, Triggs, J4F, MSK, came to my first show. Alec, niggas from my crew that passed, Script, 47er, the most hated motherfucker in the L.A. 47er, rest in peace. Hero, OTR, that was the homie. Erie. Oh man, I know I'm forgetting people too. Azure, RTDK, Tess. Just want to remember them and do a shout out to them and Digital, of course, RIP. And I know there's some other ones I'm not remembering. And I'll get you on the next run for sure. Yeah.
Okay, cool, man. Well, I think that concludes this interview, Sight.
All right, man.
Again, brother, I appreciate you for coming.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me, man. Yeah, man.
And yeah, man. Stay tuned. L.A. Chronicles, Graff Game.